chair position. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay. Alright. It's English. Kai, come here. Hello everybody, it's me Mika and I'm here to tell a story about the Tale of Two Cities, which was written by Charles Dickens. So it all started in 1789. There was a place which was called Saint Antoine, and there was a man named Jarvis Lorry in his carriage. He was sleeping in his carriage, but he was awakened by a messenger from Tellson's Bank named Jerry Cruncher. Jerry Cruncher was one of the messengers from Tellson's Bank, and he had to deliver a message quickly because it was a really important message to tell. And then he finally reached Jarvis Lorry and he said, "Hey, Jarvis Lorry, I have a message for you." Lucy Manette's father, which was jailed in the place in La Force, is alive. And then Jarvis Lorry was excited to hear the news and he said, "I have a message for you too. It is recalled to life." So Jerry Cruncher took the message and headed back to Tellson's Bank. quickly as possible. While Jarvis Lorry told Lucy Manette about her father, which was a lie. So, when Lucy heard the news, she was shocked because she thought her father was dead. Because she didn't see her father after years, months, and days. That is so tiring. And then when she heard the news, she was happy, excited, and a little bit nervous because she never met her father for a long time, he was jailed in La Force, and he stayed in there for 18 years, and I will tell you the reason how he got into prison. While he was treating a young woman which was beaten up by the Marquis, he was treating a woman and a boy, and then he was caught by the Marquis soldier, and the Marquis was more powerful than him, so he could do anything with him. He could kill him, he could send him away, but what he did was put him in prison for 18 years. After 18 years, he was allowed to be released, and then after Jarvis Lorry and Jerry Crunchit reunited with Dr. Manette, it was Lucy's turn to reunite with Dr. Manette. And then what she said was, "I will take care of you in France." And then Dr. Manette said, "Are you my wife?" And then Lucy didn't answer back. But she actually kept her promise that she would take care of Dr. Manette, her father. So Lucy and Dr. Manette climbed on the carriage. But before he went in the carriage, he said, "Wait, get my shoemaking tools." And then Monsieur Defarge, Dr. Manette's friend, got everything he asked for. He got the shoemaking bench, the tools, and everything he asked for. So after he was finding the tools, he saw a brown book which was covered in dust on a dirty shelf, and he took it and he saw it was a diary, and then he gave it to Madame Defarge, his wife, and then Madame Defarge said, "Should we give it to Dr. Manette?" said Monsieur Defarge. And Madame Defarge said, "Of course not. We're going to read his diary." So even though Monsieur Defarge knew that was actually bad to do, he agreed with his wife, and then he allowed her to read the diary. And then Madame Defarge kept the diary into her pocket so that no one would notice that she had the diary inside her pocket. Soon after After the last tool was brought inside the carriage, they set off to their own house. Dr. Manette was relieved that he could be with his daughter and reunite with her again, because that was his only dream, to be with his daughter. So they set off home, and then they lived together. And there is a man named Charles Darnay who asked permission from his family if he could go and make a new life. And then he was allowed, and then he set off, finding a new life in England. England was a place where it was so beautiful that he was wishing to go there, and he did. While he set foot on his journey looking for a new life, he saw a beautiful girl named Lucy Manette, who just had reunited with her father,
Gaspard.
Before I tell you everything, what did Charles Darnay do? I want to tell you how his uncle, Marquis Saint Evremond, died. So, Marquis Saint Evremond was a wealthy man. He owned a chateau, a lot of food, gold, jewels, and he had a lot of money, which he loved the most. Which he hated the most was the people in the village. He always teased them and made fun of them. And the people in the village were so poor. So one day, while he was riding full speed in his carriage, he hit and killed a boy which owned to a man named Gaspard. Gaspard was a poor man which he had no money to buy food for his family, and his son, his only son, was dead, and he screamed, "Dead! Killed!" And then the Marquis didn't even apologize. He kept on running at full speed, and because of the full speed, he threw the coin out of his window to say sorry, but that wasn't a true sorry. And then it flung to the air and landed near Gaspard and his child. And then, while Monsieur Defarge was comforting Gaspard, he said, "It's okay. If your boy's dead, he would not suffer, but if he's alive, he will." So, after riding in full speed and hearing that man what he said, he agreed and he said, "You're very sensible." And then he threw another coin which super duper landed near Monsieur Defarge. But Monsieur Defarge did not accept the coin, and he threw it back to the window carriage. The Marquis was angry. He looked out of his window and said, "You are all dogs." And then he went back to his home, the chateau. As soon as he arrived to his chateau, he remembered that he was drunk while he visited his friend's house. And then he took a lot of sips of wine, and then he was drunk, and then his servants put him to bed. And then while he laid on his bed, Gaspard snuck into his room. How did he get into his room? He climbed under his carriage, and then when it reached his chateau, he got out of the carriage.
Secretly?
Yes, secretly, and then he tiptoed to Marquis' chateau, and then he remembered that he got a knife and a piece of paper. And then while the Marquis was sleeping, he took the paper on his heart, and then took the sword and stabbed it in his heart. And then he was killed. And what the letter said, drive him fast to his tomb. This from Jacques. Jacques was a secret group which was planning the French Revolution.
He called it the French Revolution.
Because the French
Revolution? What is revolution? What is revolution?
Never mind. People fighting. Jacques was the secret name which was planning the French Revolution, and the French Revolution is the time when the poor people are fighting the rich people
Overthrew the government.
and overthrew the government. Before, only the richest people could vote for their president or king. But due to the French Revolution, all the people could vote. Anyone could. Okay. So when Gaspard threw it into his heart, he ran away from that place so that he wouldn't be caught. He kept on running and running so that he wouldn't be caught by Marquis' servants.
Very good.
But sadly, he was caught, and then he was hanged in the village square. And then it stood there for days, months, until the body decomposed. Charles Darnay, the nephew of Marquis Saint Evremond, decided to make a new life and set off to England. England was a peaceful place, and he knew he would find a great life there. So he set on his journey to find something new, and he started his life. He took a deep breath and started to walk. While he was walking, he saw a beautiful girl named Lucy Manette. She had golden hair and a dress made of fine silk. And beside her was her father, Dr. Manette. And then Charles Darnay fell in love with Lucy Manette, and then asked Dr. Manette for her hand in marriage. And then he agreed, but he didn't tell that some people had asked him for Lucy's hand in marriage. But soon he was chosen to marry Lucy. And then Sydney Carton, one of the person who loved Lucy Manette, was heartbroken. And then Sydney Carton wanted to talk privately with Lucy Manette and said he would do anything for her. I mean, anything for her. And then Lucy Manette agreed, and he knew that he was gonna keep his promise because he was an honest man and he would do anything for the love of his life. So when they got married, Lucy Manette gave birth to a son who died in childbirth, and a daughter who survived, and they named her Lucy, the same as Lucy Manette. And to make it not confusing, they said Little Lucy, and for Lucy, the mother, they called her Miss Manette. So Carton became very fond with the family and soon became friends with the family. He would always play with Little Lucy every day. They would run in the backyard and play. Charles Darnay enjoyed his life, but he remembered a friend in France which asked him that he wanted to go with him long before, and he wanted to rescue him and make him one of the friends of his family too. So he set off to France, the place where he had been born. And then, while he arrived to France, they thought he was a spy. And no one likes spies in their country. So, while he went in, his coachmaster threw him to a jail. And then the judge accused him for being a spy, and he was sent in prison. He tried to escape, but he couldn't. He always wrote to Lucy Manette every day. And Lucy Manette was sad to hear the news. Well, he tried to make sure no one worried about him at all. But sadly, everyone worried. His family and the family members he loved. They were so worried. While Sydney Carton visited him every day. So, Charles Darnay was brought to the courtroom. And then he said, "I'm not guilty. I was trying to save a friend in France." But the judge interrupted. "Okay, you may continue now, please." And then he continued. "So I married a beautiful girl. Bye, everyone. Get ready for episode 2. And I hope I see you there.